Good evening, everybody. This is a presentation which I'm giving you on a collection which I do from the last few years on hyperinflation. Just a little about me. I'm from Bombay. I started this collections of banknotes since about 2013 and finished the Indian banknotes on prefix basis and now moved on to world banknotes, and I do on different themes. Some of the themes are hyperinflation notes, which I'm giving you a presentation. Another is overprints notes, odd denomination notes, notes and coins on odd materials like silk, wax, paper, wood, and uncut sheets, and also pre-1900 private banknotes. The hyperinflation, basically, you see banknotes with a lot of zeros, which prompted me to get into this collection way back in 2015. And when I started this collection, I thought there would be about a few hundred notes in this collection. But when you get into the journey, you find there is a lot more notes in the collection to be added. I have done a lot of displays. I also have one display at on the ground floor here for various collections which I do. I have been doing these displays from the last about 4 or 5 years. There are various awards which I have got for various of my collection. I was honored today also by an award by Mukeshji and Shivam today. Thank you very much for that. I've also been giving presentations on various of these topics in schools or different forums. There is a book which I have written, a small booklet rather, on hyperinflation banknotes. What do you know about inflations or hyperinflation? Inflation is basically when the cost of the goods and services drastically increases, and it increases the spending power required by a user or by the public. Hyperinflation is when, for any single month, there is an inflation of 50% plus, at least for a month. Only then the situation moves into a hyperinflation situation of that country. What happens in hyperinflation? The prices of the goods goes up, the currency devalues, and the people will obtain less products for the money which they have. The valuation of the money sinks, and then the value becomes so less that it starts being used for other purposes, which you could see. They have made dresses, and if you see some other slides which comes, they are using, the kids are playing with it, they are making kites, it's being used as a fuel for cooking. Dresses are made, it's been used as wallpaper, because the value of the notes has now deteriorated so less that it's not got any use for actual purchases. We do face difficulties when we have inflation, especially carrying more money around when we go out for purchases. Now this what happens when it is in hyperinflation. You need to carry money like this to go in for purchases. You have such outlets for exchange of money. What happens basically in an hyperinflation? The banknotes which are issued are much more because of the situation. Here, if you see that the valuation of the country is fixed and it is already divided into a lot of pie. Now, when they start issuing more notes, the pie, the circle is the same. The pies become smaller. So basically, the support behind each note has deteriorated drastically by issuing more notes. And these sort of situations has happened very high in Hungary, Zimbabwe, Germany. They are one of the top areas, countries where the inflation has been the highest till now. You can see here the figures, the time. If you see here, these are the highest monthly rates I have given you, which goes on a daily basis. If you see, in Hungary it has been approximately 207, 208% per day. That's the inflation it has gone to. Zimbabwe, it has gone to almost 100%. In Yugoslavia, it is 64%. Germany, it has gone to about 21% per day. At the end of any hyperinflation situation, the country will issue banknotes of a much lower denomination, which replaces the hyperinflation banknotes, which were issued earlier during the hyperinflation period. And the hyperinflation note becomes obsolete, or it's what you call it demonetized. You see the effects in Germany because of hyperinflation. A loaf of bread in 1918 December was only half a mark, and in 5 years, in November 2023, it is about 201 billion marks for one loaf of bread. That's all because of the hyperinflation situation. Same, if you see a pair of shoes in 1914 was 10 Deutschmark, and by the time it reached to 1923, it is 30 trillion Deutschmark. So also became a situation in these countries, rather than holding money, they started holding goods. Because the goods values are going to go up, the currency will not go up. This is the gold. From 170 marks, it has gone to about 1347 trillion marks in just a period of 4 years. These are the nomenclatures which were used during the hyperinflation period. A million was equivalent to our million, but when we have a billion, they term it as million, and our billion, our trillion was equivalent to their billion. So if you look at a billion marks at that particular time, is actually the nomenclature what we use, the English one, which is equivalent to a trillion. Coming to Hungary, you can see the highest monthly inflation rate, which was there during just after the World War II in 1946. Hungary has the highest denomination note printed ever in the world, which is 10 raised to 21. That is the highest denomination banknote ever printed. That particular banknote was never issued because by the time it was ready for being issued into circulation, the new currency, which was known as forint, was ready, and that was going to overrule the old notes, which were pengos. So that was not ever issued. But the one which was issued before that was 10 raised to 20, which is the highest circulation note in the world. You can see the old currencies were literally swept out on the road because the public didn't find it enough value to go and waste their time to the bank to change into the new currencies. Zimbabwe. This is after the war with Congo. Their economy got spoiled, and you can see the annual inflation rate which Zimbabwe faced in 2008, which was a very recent period when they had this high inflation, and they have the highest denomination, which is $100 trillion, and this happens to be a banknote with highest number of zeros on any banknote in the world. This is a typical situation in Indonesia where the inflation was in 1998 and they issued a banknote of rupiah 100,000 in 1999, which still continues and it is still known as an hyperinflation note, even though there is no hyperinflation situation in Indonesia at present. These are some of the banknotes which are there in my collection. A very small portion of it has been on a display here. I have about 8,000 different banknotes in this particular collection from 50 different countries. Okay. Next slide. The one on the right is the highest denomination banknote in the world, which was not ever circulated, and the one on the left is the one which was highest circulated banknote denomination. This is from Zimbabwe, the one which I mentioned, $100 trillion. The one on the right is from Romania, which is the highest denomination note in polymer. This is the billion, which is equivalent to the English trillion. These are the ones which are all the billion range of banknotes from Germany. I have a lot of them on display here. These are some more from Germany. Again, some more from Germany. Some more. These are from various other countries, including Turkey, Greece, Russia, Korea, Yugoslavia, Iran, various other countries where these situations have reached to some levels. These are again some German, and the one which is there is the Zaire. These are some unusual hyperinflation banknotes. These are overprints. So the denomination earlier was different and it has been changed. You can see 5 has become 50,000 marks, or you see 500,000 has become 5 million in marks. This is reason is that during that hyperinflation, the government does not have enough time to design and print new notes and circulate. So the ones which is in stock has been overprinted and then circulated into the to the public. These are odd, very odd denominations. You have 300 million, you have 75 million, which are very odd denomination banknotes. The ones on the right is known as hell notes. These are from China. These are when a person expires and has been criminated. These notes are thrown into the fire there, that with the belief that this money will get transferred to them in their next life, or whichever life they are, they get that money. That is the belief, and that is what the reason this money is being used. These are uncut on the left side, and on the right is the typed note and hand signed. Again, the left one is a completely handwritten banknote, and the one on the right is again a typed note. These are check notes. These are known as check gills. Again, it is in the form of a check, but it is actually currency which was used during those hyperinflation time. These are odd materials. It's printed on foil, silver foil. The one on the right is a thick paper. This on the left is cloth. On the right is jute. These are some hyperinflation coins from Germany and Turkey. These are, as the banknotes faces the hyperinflation situation, same happens with the stamps. So these are for my collection, some envelopes with hyperinflation stamps. This envelope has got 100 million mark stamps stuck on it for post. This has got 20,000 million Pango stamps affixed on this envelope. These are some odd items. This is a check of $900 trillion in Zimbabwe, and those are some currency straps of again hyperinflation values. This is not from my collection. These are from Bank of England. There are two massive denomination notes which they have. One is known as Giant, which is 1 million note, and the other one is 100 million, which is the picture here, which is known as a Titan. These banknotes are basically used for interbanking, and they are very small quantities, and it's not for public. It's only for interbanking purposes. We have started an IBNS, that is International Banknote Society, Hindustan chapters. We are going to do a lot of activities, and we have a stall here outside where we are taking membership for this chapter. So if anybody is interested, we could have you as a member there. And as earlier Mr. Rizwan sir mentioned, this is the small video on the museum which is there in Bangalore, which I think depicts the best of the collections of banknotes of Indian origin. This is a museum which any numismatic or notaphilia collectors should visit, because it gives you a lot of insight on what banknotes are. Not only if you are not even a collector of Indian banknotes, it is still worth visiting the museum. Thank you. If there is any questions or anything, please let me know. Thank you very much.